Today, I'm reviewing the Quicksilver Marine Lubricants Power Trim and Steering Fluid. So this is used primarily for Mercruiser or Mercury engines. Now it does say it's recommended for outboard and stern drive applications. What I've primarily used this for is for stern drive boats, V6s, V8s, and inline 4s, Mercruiser or Mercury engines. And you can see this is the recommended power trim and steering fluid for Mercury Marine engines or Mercruiser engines or Mercury Marine outboard engines. Now, it will work in outboards, but my experience has most of the time been for stern drives, and this is the recommended product if you've got a Mercruiser or Mercury Marine engine. You can see Quicksilver is a product of Mercury Marine. Same address there, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, which is where Mercury Marine is. So there's no Mercury Marine brand power trim and steering fluid. It's called Quicksilver. It's just a division of Mercury Marine. And you can see what's in here and the use. It says use in power trim and steering systems where ATF is recommended. Unique formula helps prevent corrosion, oxidation, and wear. Suitable for high temperature applications. Not recommended for use in systems that specify SAE 0W30 oil. Your engine service and maintenance manual for specific applications and schedules. So the primary reason that I have used this in, gosh, probably been at least 15 or 20 years now is I've had several boats with Mercury engines in them. I've had the V8 Mercury. I've had a 4-cylinder and a 6-cylinder Mercury, and they all use pretty much the same trim pumps, and that means they use primarily the same steering fluid. So if you look at a 4-cylinder Mercury and you look at an 8-cylinder Mercury or a 6-cylinder, the trim pump is separate from the engine itself, and that trim pump is going to drive the cylinders, which then will adjust the stern drive up or down and the trim of that. And those trim pumps, for the most part, are universal across the Mercury Marine lineup of stern drive inboard engines. So if you've got a 4-cylinder, a 6-cylinder, or a V8, typically that trim pump is going to look very similar, and they're usually interchangeable because the trim cylinders and how the system works is pretty much universal on the Mercury Marine stern drives. So overall, haven't had any issues with it. One thing you always want to watch out for is water intrusion in any kind of fluid. And how you can get that is if you've got leaks in your trim system. Once the trim cylinders start to wear out, you either need a new trim cylinder and or the fittings. Sometimes you'll get corrosion at the fittings for the trim cylinder hoses that go into the trim cylinders, just because there's a lot of movement there, as well as if your boat is exposed to electrolysis from being plugged into shore power, and or your boat is exposed to salt water, you're going to have corrosion on those fittings a lot quicker than you would in fresh water, and or if you pull your boat and trailer it all the time. So overall, this is the recommended lubricant for Mercury Marine engines. Haven't had any issues with it, and works well for me. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.